Friday, July 22nd, 6:30 p.m. And this is Crystal Clear Eyes. You know what it is, who it is. You know what I'm saying? AKA Trapdoor, anti-corruption, anti-corrupt cop, anti-pedophile, pervert, aggressive gangbangers, and anti-crazy crackhead rapper. And that's what it is. And I'm feeling very dapper. No, I'm not. Anyway, this is my message, my daily message to the kids. You know what I'm saying? My daily message to anybody who cares to hear it. Especially you corrupt popo. I ain't forgot about y'all at all, yo. I ain't forgot about none of y'all. The corrupt popo, the vicious gangbangers, the disrespectful, fake, peaceful foreigners. I'm talking about you Africans and you Muslims. We come with your fake peaceful bullshit that you do when law enforcement is around, or people you want to impress, them white folks and shit, the liberals who let you in the country. Y'all pretend to be very big victims. Well, I got videos that y'all don't look like victims at all. Y'all look like a gang. Muslim gang to go right along with all the rest of the gangs here in New York. And see, that was the problem for y'all because, see, here in New York, we recognize all of that. This New York is where all of the criminals come, not just the good people, not just good people looking for a new life and all of that, looking for a better life, but also the criminals come here too, to New York. Why? Because New York is all about a business town. I can tell you what New York is good for. I've lived here all my life. New York is good for making money, and New York is good for getting into shit. Whether you want to get into trouble, or whether you want to get into partying, or whether you want to get into whatever it is, drugs, sex, prostitution, whatever it is. New York is good for all of that. And I'm not lying. There's good people here and bad people here. That's why I'm waiting to see who's going to try to come for me because, see, I don't have anything against no one particular group. I have things against all of you. Starting with my own family, yeah, and then going on to law enforcement and going on to my own people in my community. I'll start there with my own black people, black Americans, and then we'll branch out to the Africans and the Muslims, the fake victims, the fake peaceful victims who you can look all over the internet and see how peaceful they're not when law enforcement is not around. You know what I'm saying? Or how they behave. Look how they act up there in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? How they or they try to take over areas. And then will call themselves policing it and keeping Americans out of it. You can't do this. They came here to tell Americans what we can't do in our own motherfucking country, or to come here to beg their way in, talking about they need help to get away from their own violent people. When they say my country is this, my country is that, they're not talking about the country. Whatever country it is, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Russian, whether it's Asian, whether it's South American, Mexican, whether it's European, whatever the fuck. You understand what I'm saying? When they talking about, I need to get into America for safety, for this and that, security, because my country is this, my country is that, my country's dangerous, this and that. They're not talking about the country. They're not talking about the land. They're not talking about the animals, the trees, the birds, the buildings, the bees. They're talking about their people. Let's keep that shit real. Because I'm tired of all the semantics that go on, the bullshit, the double talk. We need to get into America because we want to be Americans. We believe in freedom and we looking for freedom and safety and security. And then they come here and make Americans very unsafe. And again, I'm not saying all. And again, I'm not saying America did not have criminals or dangerous pedophile shit, drug dealing, gangbanging. All of it was going on before they came, and it continued when they came, and now at this point we have a lot of people who are coming just basically to game the system, and nobody wants to say it out loud, but they will say it as they laugh about how they get over. And that's what I'm saying to these liberals who let them in. Y'all don't live in the community with us. Y'all send them here to the community, and they come to live in our low income communities, which was historically black communities, or black and Puerto Rican or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But it ain't about the color. It's about whether or not you want to be a part of the community or you want to take it over. And it's very clear. All you got to do is come walk down in these communities on a weekend. In Harlem, East Harlem, in the Bronx, or whatever the fuck. All you got to do, or Washington Heights, or whatever. You understand? All you got to do is walk in these communities on a weekend, about 10 o'clock at night, and you'll see the little tribal shit. There's no, assimilation, or they may have a few American friends who they cool with or whatever, but for the most part, all of these different separate racial or different cultural or religious groups or whatever that come here from country after country, and I'm talking about black, white, Spanish, Asian, motherfucking Arab, European, whatever. They come and they want to create their own little enclaves. That's not what America's about. Where it's all about them, their language, and they only be with their own people. They only be around their own people, and they're very hostile. You got people who've been there 20 years still don't speak the language, and you talk about you want to be a part of America, but you know most Americans basically speak English. You understand what I'm saying? So when you don't bother to learn English, you don't give a fuck to speak to Americans. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it motherfucking real. And moving on to my people and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? All this shit been going on already here in my community long before they made these changes that allowed all of these uneducated, begging, needy fucking foreigners coming up in here with all their attitude. I'll say it. They come up in here and they're very nice and humble until they get in. As soon as they get in and the motherfuckers they fool to get in is gone, law enforcement ain't around, look and see how them fuckers act on the videos. You know what I'm saying? Because a picture's worth 1,000 words. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no he say, she say. I collected the evidence because I was tired of this bullshit going on, and motherfuckers would be quick to call you a fucking name. Oh, you a racist, you a this, you. I wish they would come for me. My children are part Spanish, part Boricua. My mother was Muslim. My auntie Muslim. My cousins, I have cousins who are Muslim still to this day. My mother, when she died, she was still Muslim, but she, you know, she unfortunately had a lot of problems and stuff like that. And what I don't like is that they'll throw their nose up in the air and act like they don't. Like they're better than. But if you look on the videos, you see, no, they're not. They act just as grimy. And I'm telling you, the only dividing line has nothing to do with race, religion, countries, culture, all of that. The only dividing line is education. You see, those who can get ahead, okay, are those who value education and reading. And when you look and you see countries or communities or people or whoever that don't value education and don't value reading and don't try to motherfucking educate themselves and then, or for example, do simple things like practice birth control. I'm not getting caught up in that whole abortion debate. I have my own opinion. Other people got theirs. My opinion has changed over time. But I know one thing, a simple thing is like, simple thing like birth control. Simple thing like value education. Simple thing like, you know, reading. Reading is fundamental. You know what I'm saying? And when they don't do that, there's no way possible you can ever rise out of your circumstance, no matter where you're from, America, another country, or wherever. You'll always be stuck in a ghetto wherever you at, a ghetto near you, in your country, this country, that country, whatever country. But the worst thing about it is that, see, I traveled. I went to Puerto Rico and was there for months, over 20 years ago when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, Angela, okay? I was there in Puerto Rico. I didn't disrespect them or their culture. You know what I'm saying? Me and my man paid for me and covered me. I wasn't there being a drain on the resources of their community. And guess what? When I got tired of the Puerto Rican culture, the Puerto Rican ways, the Puerto Rican music, and this and that, I didn't say, y'all are racist. You need to change everything here because we don't like you and y'all are racist and there's no opportunities for black people here. And let me bring a whole bunch of my American black people over here so we can take over your communities and tell y'all are racist. Y'all need to change stuff and we need this and we need that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. You know what I did when I got tired of being in Puerto Rico, around Puerto Rico and this and that, and I didn't want to be around it anymore? I got up and took my black ass home. And people need to learn how to do that or be grateful or humble. They beg their way in here, they'll fight tooth and nail not to leave, and then want to disrespect America. Miss me with the bullshit. How you figure? How you figure that? Make it make sense. Because see, if it's so bad as you fucking saying, then I would think y'all be leaving. I know I would. If I was in Puerto Rico and I felt they were racist, they were this, they were that, this and that, on and on and on, all these bad things y'all say, I would have been got up and left. Make it make motherfucking sense. Stop the bullshit, the double talk, the semantics, or do it on somebody who doesn't have a background in journalism, who books and reading is her best friend, okay? Try that shit with somebody else. I don't care who y'all are. And so here's my my story and my message to the kids for the day, okay? It's important that you always pay attention to the people around you. okay? And the people who are around them, okay? Because that'll tell you a lot about the person you're around. Look and see who the type of people they draw to, what they get excited about. That tells you what they spirit draw to, negativity or positive shit. You understand? And pay close attention because people change. Now, here's a story I'm going to tell you why I learned early on in my 20s, that I didn't mind not being around a lot of people, because there's a difference between friends and acquaintances. And a lot of y'all ain't figured that out. Maybe you're too young, or maybe some of y'all just old and dumb and you ain't figured out. Okay? But a lot of people rolling around talking about they got friends. My sister was one of those. She always had friends around her. When she would come to a cookout or something on the park side, she always bring a friend. Can I bring a friend? Or she come anyway, can I bring my friends? Friend. She didn't learn the difference between friends and acquaintances, apparently. Because none of them so-called friends, all them hundreds of friends I heard about, and I wish anybody would try to open their mouth and say anything because I'm keeping it real about my sister, my motherfucking sister, who I used to read to and when she was in my mother's belly. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I knew her before she knew herself. And before any of y'all knew her. Okay? And I helped raise her. I got the receipts. So I used to babysit her alone when I was 7. And she was 6 months old. So, where was them friends when my sister was being murdered? Or where were they when they could have opened their mouth before she was murdered and told all the shit that they wanted to tell me about after she was murdered? Then they want to unload their guilt. Oh, but this and that was happening. Well, why y'all didn't tell me about this before she got killed? And so that's what I'm saying. Friends will not be there for you all the time. Friends can fail you. Family can fail you. People change. See, this is how I learned that friends, it's not important about friends. It's important. The quantity of friends you have, that's not important. It's the quality. Are they people you could trust with your eyes closed or your back turned? Let me tell y'all this story, kids, from when I was young and dumb early on in the game. But I smartened up real quick, though. I used to go, I didn't have my own place to live. At one point, I was homeless in my 20s, because I was fucking up. Bottom line, I was fucking up. I can't blame it on nobody. There was bad things that had happened in the past. But at that point, I was grown and I chose to run away from dealing with anything. And instead, I was just, hitting the mute button on the world, that's all. Staying lifted and didn't want to think about nothing. Long story short, I didn't have my own place. I was young. So, I was just, kind of like, hey, pillar the post, whatever I could do, And I went to visit at a friend of mine's house who was kind of more like an acquaintance. You wouldn't really say a friend. It was more like acquaintance. He used to live on 157. And so, beautiful building. It's still there, but I don't think he lived there anymore. He had 2 beautiful daughters, and he used to puff, okay? Now, his daughters had their own separate bedroom with a lock on the door. He took good care of his girls, I ain't going to lie. But he used to have his house. His house was like, a place where, 24/7 motherfuckers could come by, sit, kick back, give him something, and do what they, whatever they got, give him a piece, and, there it is, or a couple dollars, and there it is, and then, breeze on out. And that's how he used to do his thing, Well, whatever income he had, I guess that's how he supplemented it. Having people come to his house and bringing him a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can fill in the blanks, right? Drug bullshit, And so, I was one of those people, and I used to sit all to the side because they used to all sit in the living room, and they would all be around the couch. He had a couple couches, a couple chairs, and, a table, coffee table. And they'd all be over there, his guests. And I always used to be to the side. And every once in a while, I was all by myself because I always liked to be by a window for fresh air and a fan. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't with the kicking the Willy Bobo bullshit. I didn't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? All that chitter bullshit motherfuckers want to talk about. Who got locked up? Who got the best yet? Did you hear what happened to so-and-so? I don't give a fuck. It ain't none of my business, So I used to just stay off to the side by the window, sit there by the window with the fan, and mind my business, puff, and then, after a while I get up and leave, out. And, if somebody say hi to me, I wasn't rude. Hey, how you doing? But I wasn't chatty. That was me. Hey, how you doing? Cool. But I wasn't chatty. That was it. That's all I'm going to say. What's up? That's it. And Yeah, because people transform when they be doing shit. They'll transform on you. And sure enough, yo, so now one day I'm sitting there and sometimes his guests he be like, yo, what's up with her? And he be like, nothing. She cool. She just, she do her own thing. That's it. Cause yeah. Cause I ain't with that. I don't want nobody in my business and I don't want to hear none of your bullshit street business. Nah. So one day a dude came up in the joint, right? You could see the minute he walked in, this nigga was trying to play Big Willie. I don't know what his name was. I don't care. I wasn't even trying to remember. He ain't had nothing to do with me. He walked up in there flashing a big knot, pulling out a little baggie, you know what I'm saying, of this or that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A baggie, okay. So, and everybody, all the chicken heads started clucking and all of that, and everybody got excited. And I took one look and I turned my head and mind my business. Because I seen that before. Motherfuckers like to come and play a Big Willie game and want you to be all on their dick and they shit, sweating them and all of that. Yo, what you got in your pocket ain't got nothing to do with me or what I got in my pocket. It's not in my pocket, so I don't care. I ain't sweating that shit. You know what I'm saying? So he handed out, a little party favors, shall we say, to the people around the table. He hit the man off with the house. He hit him off. And then he handed out a little party favors to the people around the table, the chicken heads and the crackheads or whatever that was sitting there clucking and all of that, all on his shit. And, showing all their teeth, click-clacking and yakety-yakking and all that bullshit. And then he looked over to me and said, shit, yo, what's up with her? Hey, what's up? I was like, hey, cool, how you? And that's it. I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't sweating a nigga for shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type I'll get my own shit. And I definitely will not be sweating a motherfucker, period. Whether I know him or don't know him, it doesn't even make a difference. If you want to give me something cool, if not, you can forget that sweating shit. That's not me. So now, then he told the homeboy, he was like, nah, she cool, whatever. So he offered me a little something. I said, okay, appreciate it, thank you. Okay, cool, that's that. They go back to sitting there at the table. I'm to the side, as usual, off to the side by myself. And everybody's sitting there clucking and clucking. And this motherfucker pulls out his little fucking, his crack pipe, because that's what they was doing, not me. I don't fuck around with that glass dick bullshit. I puff trees. But anyway, so to each his own. Who am I to motherfucking judge him or whatever, I'm minding my business. So he pulls his little fucking shit out, his crack pipe, and he loads that shit. Now, I don't smoke like that, but I've seen many people do it. And he put the amount of like 3 or 4 times what I've seen other people do when they do that. Even I knew, me who ain't never did that, yo, this is not going to end well. I'm thinking to myself, I've seen people do this before. They don't put that amount. That nigga put like 3 or 4 times of what I've seen people normally would put in that damn thing. Do you understand me? And I'm saying to myself, gee, I think this is going to be bad. Like, something in my gut was telling me, damn, yo, like trying to decide if I should, like, breeze out. Yo, this fucker hit that shit, and he went beat me up, Scotty, blast off. So he hits that shit, sucks it in like a fucking Hoover, then blows it out, and I guess that shit blew his fucking mind. Yo, he stands up, reaches up, and just goes in his first he goes in his motherfucking jacket and pulls out a 9 and goes and cocks the shit. Now we all get silent. Then he reaches up, this nigga's going Space Coast, and turns out the fucking light in the living room. Click, click. Because it was a light switch, light bulb, and it had the little string. Click, click. And this motherfucker standing there, tweaked out Space Ghost with a cocked 9mm in his hand and got us all sitting there in the dark. I'm telling you, you could have heard a motherfucking mosquito fart. That's how quiet it was. We were all holding our breath because we knew this nigga done blasted off in his head, and obviously something going on in his past. I knew that got him paranoid like that because there was no reason for him to be paranoid at that moment. There was nothing going on to make the man paranoid. He made himself paranoid. And now we all sitting there at his mercy, praying he come down off this shit and don't start just unloading and kill everybody. Thank God homeboy whose house it was able to talk him down off the ledge. Because everybody else, we was all sitting there holding our breath. Nobody moved, nothing. It was one of those nobody moved, nobody get hurt situations. And thank God homeboy talked him down off the ledge. And eventually he uncocked the 9, he put it away and turned the light back on and sat down. And got ready to smoke again. And the crackheads and them motherfuckers just sat there and went on with, oh, yo, I was like, are you out your rabbit ass mind? I sat there for like 2-3 minutes so it wouldn't look like I was like scared. But I was. Fuck yeah, I was. We could have all died in there at that moment. And then I breezed on out and I made sure if I ever came back there, I made sure that nigga was not there. Yeah. He could have killed us all. We'd have been in the newspaper the next day. 5 bodies found in a house, shot to death. Nobody knows why, drug related. So kids, I'll tell you that story. That was in my 20s. And that's how I learned very early on. One of the stories, there's many others of how I learned, you know what I'm saying? You watch people closely, whether you know them or you don't know them. And the ones you know, watch them even closer. Because motherfuckers, when they think that they can rock you to sleep, then they'll change on you. It happens all the time. All the time in families, relationships, on the job, whatever. And kids, last thing, the corrupt popos, stay away from them. If they come by you, pull out your phone and videotape them motherfuckers. They hate that. And don't answer no questions, none. Say, I'm sorry, sir. I can't reach for anything. I can't reach for my wallet, my ID, because I don't want you to kill me, okay? I don't want you to shoot me and say I have a gun. However, you can call my parent, and I'm sure they'll answer all the questions. Do you want my parent's number? And just keep videotaping the motherfuckers. And if they try to arrest you, don't fall for it. Don't resist arrest. They tried that shit on me. They thought they was going to get me on a resisting arrest. I let them. And then I walked out in the handcuffs going, we shall overcome. Yeah, because I know that game. They try to, if they don't have nothing on you, they'll try to put the cuffs on you and get you for a resisting arrest. So don't resist. Go quietly, respectfully, and you'll be out of it in no time if you have not done anything. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for you fuckers who done did shit. But if you legitimately have not done anything, videotape everything, let them put the cuffs on you, go respectfully, and you'll be out of it in no time. Just like me. Ain't that right, Corrupt 44 Precinct? That's why y'all can't stand me, right? Yeah, I can't stand you either. Get on safe, kids. YouTube, Renee Jimenez, YouTube, Crystal Clear Eyes. I don't feel like doing the rest today. So YouTube, anybody don't like it, bite me.